All right. Hey, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Street Level Strategies. Today, I am joined by Dan Squared. I get both Dans today, which is so fun. I've got Dan Rogers, Regional Manager and SVP of Mortgage Lending Net Guaranteed Rate, and then Dan Miedima, Head of Customer Success at Total Expert. How are we doing today, Dan Squared?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me.
Doing good. Thanks, Bobby Joe. Thanks, Dan, for joining. Really appreciate it.
My pleasure. My pleasure,
All
Dan.
right.
Had a lot of fun working with you when you were here.
Absolutely.
Now he's over here, and it's been pretty fun. We're loving
Great.
life with the Dan.
Yes.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Dan, for joining us. Year over year, you just continue to be a top producer. You're on the Scotsman Guide. You're also a regional manager. You're not only managing a team, but you are also producing a lot of loans. So I think over this past year, you've helped about 300 families, get into homes, hit about 70 million in loan volume. And I'd really just love to start off with you, Dan, talking a little bit about, how you do this, how you continue to do this year over year while you're managing, while you're also producing and leading this team. How are you adapting and growing in this industry, in this market with all the new technologies and the shifts? I know you've been in the industry for a long time. Why don't you just talk to us a little bit about that?
Sure. I think that the main thing about, being relevant and continuing your career and continuing to grow is embracing the tech, right? And embracing the new things that are out there and not becoming a dinosaur. I'm going to be coming up on 40 years in this business, and it could be real easy to say, social media and these texting, and why are these people texting me now instead of calling me on the phone? And you have to adapt, and you have to know, as you move through your career, where do you want to take your career? Everyone has different levels. Well, I've chosen, to always want to be better every year, or do everything I can to be better. So, we've been doing more social media advertising, Google advertising, things that I didn't even know existed, from a business aspect 3 years
Right.
ago, 4 years ago, right? It's been huge. I mean, and really trying to take those platforms that are there for the consumer to find you and do research on you, like Google reviews and Zillow reviews, and driving that, because if you don't believe that that customer is typing in your name and wanting to know a little bit more about you
Oh, yeah.
before they give you the largest purchase they're going to make in your life, you're a fool to not
Yeah.
believe that, right? That
Oh, yeah.
realtor referral means a lot, but they're checking on us, and,
Right.
and if you're coming up and you're there and they can see the relevance that you have, you're building credibility,
Yeah.
and
100%.
that's the name of the game.
Yeah. Yeah. I
I like what you
hear.
said there too on
Yeah.
customers finding you, but you're also finding customers in some ways, through all those different channels. And, we'll talk about some of the other digital strategies, but like the omni-channel approach too, and being present. And I mean, your customer base, I imagine, is like, very diverse and widespread, right? Some people like text, some like email, some like phone, so having the ability to have all those different channels is super important.
Yeah, it's very important. But the key, you can have all those things, Dan, but if you don't embrace it and you don't make the customer feel it's okay, that if you want to just text with me, that's
Yep.
okay. If you're the person who wants to just email, that's okay too, right? You're the one person who wants to talk on the phone, which is rare these days.
Yeah.
That's okay, right? I mean, you've got to find that level of comfort with your customer as you're starting the process, moving through the process, and it's just really important to make them feel like they are special, because they are. Every client is just a unique person.
Yeah, for sure. It's funny because I talk to so many loan officers, and that is really it, right? Like there is the social media, they know it exists. They know that that's where they can capture this business, but they're scared to start. And I love that you're saying it's not about it's actually you just got to do it, right? You have to adapt. And again, being in the industry for 40 years, I can't imagine how many times you've had to say that. Like you just have to adapt to where we're at, especially in such a digital age where again, what you said is like if you're a fool if you don't think that other people are looking you up and are trying to, are scouting other folks before they do their maybe the biggest transaction of their life. So I love that you talked
Right.
about that.
Yeah, and you have to, in order to to stay doing a lot of loans and continue that process, you really have to ultimately look at your business. I've used this analogy a lot with the loan officers who've worked for me for years. I mean, your business is like a big snowball, and unfortunately, it melts. It's constantly melting. You got to keep packing more on,
Yeah.
and what you're packing
Right.
on is you're packing on more contacts, more potential buyers. For me, the big piece is realtor partners. That's
Yeah.
my main focus, is constantly trying. It's an everyday process of looking. We're doing a transaction. How many deals has that agent done? Who are they working with? Using the tech that we never had access to really be able to, instead of this shotgun approach, really rifle down and target the agents who really are doing the business from the buy side, and offering them our value prop as far as guaranteed rate, but me also as a loan officer, to what my team can do for them to help them grow their business, and not just, hey, I want your buyers, but I'm not giving you anything back. So, I'm constantly trying to build and keep that snowball getting bigger and bigger. And,
Yeah.
I know that as we move into next year, as rates continue to come down and the pie gets bigger, these agents who have been struggling also, I'm gonna get more slices of that pie. It's gonna be a really
100%.
good year. So
Yep.
Yeah.
Especially if you're staying on top of them now and you're engaging with them now and making sure that you are, captivating them and making sure that you're really cultivating those relationships with your agents now so that when it does get to that point, the agents know who to go to and they see that you are a trusted loan officer. I think that's really the biggest thing of what I'm hearing loan officers say is like, right now is the time to be investing so that when it gets to that point, those agents, they need a trusted loan officer to answer those questions and help them as they go through the transaction. They're talking to buyers and such. So that'll get super important. But, Dan, I want to pivot back to, multi-channel marketing, right? You talked a lot about social media. How right now are you, it sounds like, right, you've leveraged, you're starting to move into social media and making sure that that's a platform, but you're also talking about how, whether it be texting or whether it be email. I mean, there's a wide variety of buyers out there and how they like to communicate. How are you leveraging this multi-channel marketing approach to stay present and educate via multiple platforms as you're talking to your loan officers and you yourself are doing loans? How are you doing that today?
well, we found that it's that email has kind of become very stale mail.
Yeah.
People, we're in a rare industry where I'm staring at my email all day long, right? I mean,
Yeah.
most people do not stare at their email all day long,
No.
and most of our buyers, especially, aren't staring at
Yep.
their email. My marketplace is a very blue collar area of the city of Chicago and suburbs, right? They're not, their phone
No.
may be somewhere, but it's not out on the workplace,
Yep.
right? So, we found that we've pivoted, probably 60% of our communication over to texting,
Yeah.
because the text is an easy, fast way, and they actually got it. I mean, we don't know half the time when you send an email, if we have a link in there to get started on the loan app, the link may have caused it to go into their spam folder, right?
100%.
Yeah.
So we've learned that we need to do more follow-ups with texting. Hey, did you see
Yep.
the email we sent? Hey, happy birthday. We saw it was your birthday, right? Come up on social. Things that try to differentiate you, but you're every I always think that every single time we can touch a person, whether it is a quick text or something, email is great, but the texts are a little like a little sales call, just a little drip, drip,
Right.
drip to let them know you're there, right? And that's why we have these drip campaigns and, Total Expert and all these things to try to stay top of mind. But, this piece that we're going to talk about later, the texting part is the game changer,
Yeah.
because we know we know they're getting it, and there's a more instantaneous response back, which
Yeah.
is
Yep.
what you want. We want engagement.
Yeah. And very conversational, which is always helpful too. You know what I mean? You get a little bit more back and forth than
Mhm.
email. I think email is a great marketing tool to stay top of mind, like you said. And I think we still have to have it. But with text, you get like a conversation going with the person. It's more, it feels real to some extent. And you can
Yeah.
connect with your customers. I think also, like you said, agent partners, right? Like
Yes.
communication is so important. and being able to do that with agent partners too and communicate, especially on the transaction or anywhere else. Text is a great avenue and tool for that.
Yes, that's for sure. And the drip campaigns and some of the things that we have, that's our way to, we're seeing that, in the new SMS system, the names of those agents, and they're reaching the texts and they're getting those, and that I'm not doing anything and I'm making sales calls. How
Right.
great
Yep.
is that, right?
Yep.
And
Exactly.
here's the best part: it costs me
Yeah.
zero.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the biggest thing, that if you're not embracing the tech and you're not looking to make sure you're constantly differentiating yourself, then you will get lost in this market, especially with the first time buyer pool of what, 37 they say the average age is now, and younger.
Yep.
You can call them on the phone, they won't answer. You text them, they answer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Like my own kids, so it's like
Oh
I
yeah.
realize this, Dad, you got to accept this is the way it is.
Hey, it's
So
good you have your younger kids to keep you in
yeah,
check.
yeah, I'm gonna be really scared when they start snap texting me, like
Oh
Yes.
yeah,
my
it's
I
daughter.
coming,
agree.
don't worry.
Then when my clients start doing that, I'm scared. I'm gonna get
That's when
worried.
that's when maybe a little too far.
Yes.
Hey, well, Dan, we got you on here also for a reason. Dan Miedima, you have also, you run our customer success department, right, at Total Expert, and you've seen a lot of our customers, and really you're helping them implement a lot of our new tools. And one of the things that, Dan Rogers, you have been talking through is our new SMS and mobile capabilities, our new texting through our mobile app. And I know, Dan, you have been one of the, first folks who have started leveraging the tool. So, Miedima, talk a little bit about, our new SMS capabilities, our mobile app, what's coming soon. And then I'd love for you just to talk a little bit and about your success, Dan, with, the SMS capabilities.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, definitely an area that we're excited about. And, we talked a little bit about it and we'll talk about it more, but, taking things mobile for LOs to have that on the go. And that's the key to the mobile app. And then also building in the text functionality for communication. So I think, Dan, as you've kind of started using that early on, like Bobby Joe said, what are some of the things that you've seen with the new functionality compared to what you had running with automation, doing text through journeys in Total Expert, that you're liking with the new experience that's improved?
Well, definitely number one is that you're getting the notices instantaneously that another milestone through the milestone journey that I'm getting response to, right? That before it, I wouldn't even get them because there was nothing
Yep.
on the mobile app, right? You'd had to go in and you'd have to, honestly, you'd have to search to see, and I really didn't have time for that. But your phone is in front of you all day long, right? So
Yep.
you're seeing, that engagement, and it gives us the ability to, it's like with a realtor, right? If they text back, oh, thanks, the post closing text to say thank you, it was a pleasure to work with you, and they text back, we start a conversation then, right? Can't wait to do it again. It was really great working with you. Um, and you can build off of that because it just happened, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Emails and things like that kind of get lost in the shuffle. They may not look at their email for 6 hours, so you lose that bit of excitement. But as soon as it funds, bam, that text goes out,
Yeah.
right? Letting them know it was great working with them, and now you have the ability to get that feedbacks, right?
Yep.
So
Yeah. And I
um,
think tying it together too, where even with the mobile app and having a CRM, you'll get that text at closing or whatever, and then you can set a reminder in 2 weeks or whatever to try to follow up again, right? We know that those relationships need to be nurtured. It's not going to happen overnight, right? So it's nice that it's built into one place and you can access it right from Total Expert and right from, the marketing platform. So
yeah, and the biggest added feature though that I touched on earlier is that having your whole, like, I've got over 13,000 contacts in Total Expert, right? Realtors, attorneys, all the buyers, pre-approvals, people who started let's say a digital mortgage and didn't finish it, right? As long as they got the name, phone number, and email address, I have data and I have information to be able to connect with them. And you do get, you can, right right on your phone now, look up a name and call or text these people to get
Yep.
engagement. Hey, we saw that you had a mortgage credit alert, that you made your credit check. Hey, we did this for you back, whatever. you know you're able to connect with people because their name is right there, and it automatically sets you up to be able to text out of it. It has been a huge, time saver. Now, the phone's great too, but you also have the dashboard, that you can work on your computer. And
Yep.
one of my sales assistants has had that open, and we've had some text strings that about refinancing that we've clicked their name, opened it, embedded that in, and sent it out to them. Right. So
Oh, for sure.
we're
Yeah.
kind of using it in a multiple way because it's easier to grab text and hit multiple people, one after another. Hey, we just noticed rates came down enough. It's time for you to refi it. We've got their
Oh,
info.
yeah.
All we got to do is click it, right, and it
Yeah.
and it sends it out. And we've got
I
and we
agree.
have a history of all the communication.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I know. I think it's absolutely necessary that we have, in platform, you can do the texting. It's quicker. It's easier. I mean, most of the day sitting at your desk, your phone's right here. You know what I mean? So if you can do it, if you're at your desk and you can do it there, great. I think the mobile app, what we're excited about too, is just, the after hour stuff, right? I mean, the job never sleeps. So there's always the ability when you're running around or whatever, like you said, look up contacts and get that quick reply. And, now, with that ease of use functionality, you're using it for a lot of like loan status, communications,
Mhm.
refinance example that you said. Any other areas that you think it'll be helpful to have that automated level of communication going now that you have the mobile app and the functionality is easier to communicate and reply back?
Yeah, I definitely would say that from the aspect of, hey, we still need these two conditions, right?
Yep.
Or hey, did you see that email from our loan processing team, right? Just I have the ability when I see an email from our team to do a quick reach out to them, to keep that process going, and it's so much faster and easier,
Hmm.
and it's me touching the customer again. Now it may not be exactly me, it may be one of my sales assistants, right, but they think it's me. It is I'm kind of leading them down the path, and
Mhm.
that was not as easy to do before. This gives me something I can just keep nudging them along and keep them
Yep.
going. And I'll say, Dan, I mean, you were part of integrating the system here, and one of the things that it's always been lacking was, for me, it never felt like a real CRM because I didn't have this communication ability.
Yeah.
It's great having all the information, but if I couldn't extract it and actually use it within the system, then it's really not, it's not allowing me to grow the relationship, contact relationship management, right?
Yeah.
There was no building the relationship off of it except for automated emails that went out right after
Yeah.
closing and all. Now we can set up, hey, it's been 30 days since you closed, I hope you settled in, right? we can
Yep.
we can build new journeys for texting out. And it's been 6 months, can you believe it? Instead of it being a happy anniversary email, which the system does,
Yeah.
now we can get into texting.
Next.
Yeah.
So much
Super
better.
exciting. I know. And
So much
really,
better.
and at TE, we always talk about the full life cycle too. And I think you
Mhm.
just hit on it right there. But like even lead front end, right? You can nurture all the way through from lead, and then pre-approvals is another important one. We know people are out there shopping for longer turn times than maybe they ever have in recent history, right? Like it's hard to find a house. So staying connected is important. You got in process and then post close, like you said, right? So you get that full life cycle with the customer, and you can capitalize on all those different opportunities. So
Yes,
I
for
agree.
sure. Yeah,
Awesome.
there's just going to be some great stuff that can be built into it. I mean, I would love the anniversary, instead of an email, happy anniversary, happy
Yep.
7th year anniversary,
Totally.
that it's a text. I mean, so
Yeah.
much of this needs to move to a text. It's just
Yep.
Yeah.
just
But
easier.
that's where it really is going to get powerful, right? Is when we
Mhm.
have the ability to do that. Now that, two-way SMS and two-way texting exists and we can automate that through journeys. I mean, the possibilities are endless, right? And that's just so powerful to be able to automate that and then you to be able to quickly pull up your phone, respond. And then I love that you were saying then you got a teammate in the back that's like also able to be on the desktop doing that so you guys can work hand in hand. I mean,
Mhm.
I think that the power in this is just going to be unmatched. And I know you're already seeing that come to life today. So we're super, super thankful, Dan, that you were able to just jump on the call and, talk a little bit
Sure.
about your experiencing leveraging the new tool because we know it's going to be powerful for the rest of our folks. But again, we so appreciate you and just being an awesome
My
customer.
pleasure. Yeah, I know it's only
Awesome.
going to get better. The team is awesome there, and even the feedback we've been giving, when we were just kind of breaking this in, it's
Yeah.
been great that you guys understand it, right? You know what we're looking for. You're dealing with it, and the fact that you continue to be willing to look at it and say, oh yeah, we can get better if we can do this, we can do
Yep.
that, and we're going to continue to make it better.
Agreed.
Well, we gotta get better together.
That's right.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Dan. Good
My
to
pleasure.
catch up with you
Thanks,
too.
Dan.
Yeah, really appreciate it.
Absolute
guys.
pleasure. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you again.
You too.
Thank you.